Here is the Galaxy Nexus. It's the HSPA Plus version of the Galaxy Nexus, and it's of course the first phone running Ice Cream Sandwich. So I wanted to give you a quick walk around Ice Cream Sandwich, give you a feel for what it's like. This is the home screen, one of 5. So I'm just going to quickly scan across. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I haven't really customized much of this at this time. I wanted to leave it so that I could show you in the video. As you can see, it's really smooth and slick. The main difference obviously is these hardware buttons are gone, and so now you instead have 3 software buttons that appear. And just to show you, this here is the web browser. If I now tilt the phone into landscape, you can see that the keys have switched positions. So it's like very much like the Incredible 2 in that sense, except that these are just in software. They're drawn on the screen, not rendered in hardware. So that's the big deal, the big change. And as you notice, the 3 keys are labeled very similar to Honeycomb. You have the back button right there, the home button right there, and then the recent apps button. As you can see, I got 2 recent apps open here. I've got the dialer and the web browser. And so this isn't really a task manager, but it does behave like one. You can swipe things like that, and it removes them from a list. It doesn't actually kill the task, and so this is what it looks like when there's no tasks running. So this is basically the main functionality down here. The other thing that's different is this search bar here is persistent. It's across all the screens. As you can see, the little microphone and Google logo remain despite what home screen I'm in. So it takes up some real estate. If I rearrange things and say move this up here, you can see that I can't actually move it up there because it'll just remove it from the screen. Another big deal is I can customize this bar down here. So for example, I can now remove the people from this, rearrange this to my liking, and then I'll just put it back. And if I drag an app onto another app, it creates a folder for these apps. So here I can name the folder MISC. And so I've created a folder here on the desktop on one of the screens. And I can take this folder now and put it in here. So folders are a new thing. I'm just going to put this back the way I want it. So let's look at the app tray. The widgets are alive in the app tray. There's tabs now here for apps and widgets. And of course, direct access to the market. Just to show you, this is very, very quick. And once you get past your apps, you're in the widgets. The animation is actually pretty cool. It fades in like that. As you can see, the next panel fades in. So that's nice. And of course, you can make it fade out like that. Nice and smooth. Everything is really snappy. So let's grab a widget and put it on that home screen. As you can see, some of these widgets have these outlines around them. For example, this here, Google Plus Posts. So let's stick that here, and I'll follow, say, bloggers. And so now, as you can see here, I get these 4 little blue dots which let me resize the widget. Well, that's another thing that's been added. And of course, to remove a widget, I just highlight and put it in the remove in a little tray there. Another thing in the app tray that's new is that you can actually uninstall an app by just dragging it into this uninstall icon, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to uninstall the Walgreens app from my phone. So that's a quick look at the home screen, the app tray. Now let's have a look at the notification tray. You notice there's no menu button anymore, so how do you get to the settings? Well, you can do it through the app tray, of course. There's a settings button in here somewhere, right there, settings. Or you can slide the notification tray down. As you can see, we're on T-Mobile and on Wi-Fi. If I tap on this, I'm now in the settings, and they've been revamped significantly, as you can see. Conveniently, the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth controls are on top. You can turn on and off Wi-Fi by tapping here, but also by tapping on the actual Wi-Fi menu item, you get into the Wi-Fi hotspot list. So that's a nice little touch. I'm going to get to the data usage in a second. I just want to show you what else there is. A group by categories: device, personal system. So that's how it's set up here. And it's a much nicer setup, really, because you can get to the important things much quicker. Now, there's more in here, like NFC. And then let's go to data usage. So what this does is I just put a new SIM in recently, so you won't be able to get a good feel, but it shows you your data usage here. You can see a little sliver of it over time. And you can set a warning here to any value you want. So it was on 2 gigabytes. I'm going to leave it there. Now, if you tap this set mobile data limit, get a warning, and then you can set this red bar to say, like, let's cap me off at 5 gigabytes. So I did 5.1. 5. So at 5 gigabytes now, my phone, at 2 gigabytes, my phone will give me a warning. At 5 gigabytes, it'll stop using data over the cell phone network. So that's kind of what this is about. It's a really, really cleverly well done thing. And now on a per app basis here, you can go and see how much an app used. As you can see, there's a tiny sliver there, you can't really tell. And you can say that you don't want this app using background data, which means they won't be using anything but Wi-Fi if you check this box. So that's basically how this data usage feature works. So if I lock the phone by pushing the power lock key, this is what I get. I get the time, the date, and now you can actually slide this either to the left or to the right. Now, to the left drops you into the camera app, as you can see here. Going back and to locking it again, to the right drops you directly into your normal home screen. And in this case, this is where we want to be. So there's another few things I want to show you. If you go into the music app and you're listening to music, so let's pick something. Here we go. So I'm listening to some music. It's not very loud. Speaking of which, let me fast forward a little bit. The speaker is actually very good on this for a cell phone speaker. So let's say I'm playing music like this, and I'll turn down the volume a little bit. So I'm playing some music. If I go to the home screen now, and I pull down the notification bar, I have some audio controls here to play with, which is really nice. I can pause, I can go to the next track. And another thing that's really nice is I can tap anywhere in here and be back in the music app. Now, if I lock the screen at this point, in the lock screen you now have music controls as well. So I can pause, I can go next track, previous track, and etc. So that's a pretty majorly awesome thing. Now the sliding of notifications, you can see this doesn't work with this guy because it won't let me dismiss it, but you can slide them to the side like that, left or right. Here we are with a notification. I sent myself an email, and so as you can see, you can now dismiss this by sliding it like this. And there you go, that's this notification feature I was mentioning. Now, the next thing I want to quickly show you is, maybe pause this music, is some of the core apps. They've been all grouped by default into this nicely, conveniently named Google tray. And so you've got Maps, Email, Calendar. Let's just quickly look at Maps. And here's San Francisco with traffic. So as you can see, there's no more menu button, but the menu is accessible by these 3 dots like this. And these 3 vertical dots are pretty much anywhere in new apps. You'll find them. They're not always in the same spot. Sometimes they're at the top. But basically what Google's done here on all of these core apps is make like a band of these most commonly used functionality available at the top and the bottom of each app. And of course the settings is in there as well. So ditto the calendar and Google+. Google+ is also a good example. As you can see, this is what the interface looks like. Here is the menu button for the settings. So again, it's not located in the same spot for all core apps. I'm not going to show you email and calendar because obviously I've got all my accounts set up with my personal information, but you get the feel for it. Each one of these apps is being customized to take advantage of the new functionalities in Ice Cream Sandwiches UI. Now, legacy apps, let me show you, for example, the Engadget app, instantly acquire a new, I haven't run this yet, instantly acquire a new little menu item next to the software keys. This triple dot is now the old menu button. Of course, there's nothing to do here, but if I go into the feed, you can now see that tapping this triple dot gives me all my access to the menu like I would have on a normal Android phone. So this is, or a gingerbread phone. So this is basically how this works. You basically get access to the menu when it pops up down there. Some apps are buggy though. Facebook, for example, I didn't set it up on this, but doesn't have its menu show up properly. So that's a bit of an issue. But in a nutshell, this is basically what you're getting with Ice Cream Sandwich. You're getting a new UI, a new design. I don't know if you noticed, but in the lock screen here, you can see the new Roboto font, which is really quite beautiful. Showing the time in a large font, but it's basically across the entire OS now, and that's really nice. It's very pleasant to look at, easy to read. Let me quickly walk you through one last thing, and that's the camera UI. They've done a lot of changes to the camera, despite the fact that this camera is probably not the best module and unit that we've come across. Sadly, it's not state-of-the-art like the rest of the phone. It's not bad, but it's not quite as good as the competition. It's a 5 megapixel autofocus camera, but the software is very unique. So let me show you that. So as you can see here, this is the camera, and of course if I put something in the field of view here, I'll show you the basic functionality. You get 3 controls at the bottom here. Let me actually move this a little bit further, like up there. Get 3 controls here at the bottom. You've got the video, stills, and panorama modes. So I'm in stills mode right now, and I've got a zoom key here. I can zoom in and out. I've got the shutter key, which if I push on it, there you go, it focuses and locks exposure and focus. So I can now reframe and take my shot if I want to. And so it's pretty low light right now, so I'm just taking care to make the pictures look good. Here you can quickly preview your picture and share it if you want. You tap on this again, you're in the gallery. And if you tap this little button here, you get some settings, specifically flash, white balance, exposure value, scene mode, and then if you hit ... you can set geotagging, and you can set the pixel density of your shots, like how many pixels you want. So that's how this works, general UI. The theme continues if you select video, and as you can see here, it's set to 1080p. 1080p. You can change here, share location, those kind of things. Really cool feature is time-lapse. You can now do time-lapse videos. Set it to 1 second increment all the way to 10 seconds. It's been a lot of fun. Check out our review. We actually have a time-lapse video in there. And then there's this effects feature, which basically lets you take, like I'm going to be in space right now. So as you can see, this is the Android guy. And now if I move my hand across, and you can see the little button there. If I remove it, it's missing from the little hole. So that's one of the effects. Another one of the effects is you can do like the kind of fisheye type effect. So what's cool about this is that it actually can't really see it here because it detects faces. So it's trying to find a face in my picture here, and it's not going to. But it tracks faces, finds them, and then actually gets them to distorts them. You can see the choices, the silly faces and backgrounds, clear effects. So that's pretty fun. I'm not sure it's useful. At least the time lapse is kind of useful. So another setting here is a panorama mode, which you can just use pretty much the way you'd expect. You tap the green button and you can pan across. Now, this doesn't work very well right now because we don't have the right background for it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's just a normal sweep panorama. If you go back to the camera app, I want to show you a couple of other things that are new to Android. There's a touch to focus, so you can touch anywhere on the screen to focus. Also, this uses continuous autofocus, so if I move my hand in front of this, it will refocus, you know, etc. And it's pretty much ready to take pictures. And just to show you how quick this interface actually is, it's super fast. There, it just refocused. I can hit this button and keep taking pictures about several times per second. So it's extremely fast. We just wish the camera was a little better quality. It's the only majorly disappointing part. So this is the Galaxy Nexus. There will be an LTE version available on Verizon pretty soon, so we'll cover that as well.